If Tai Chi after 60 has ever made you look down at your feet and think, I may never get this, do not blame your age yet. Sometimes the urge to quit does not come from Tai Chi being impossible. It comes from a first lesson asking the mind and body to solve too many things at once. Hands turn, feet change direction, posture shifts, and the next move arrives before the last one feels clear. Start smaller. Before learning a sequence, learn one clear piece. Today, we will look at 5 mistakes. The first overloads the mind. The next 2 make the movement larger than the body can organize. The fourth begins with careful listening, but freezes a moving posture into a picture. And the final mistake turns breathing into another test. The obvious mistakes are not always the ones that make a beginner want to leave. One looks impressive on camera. Another begins with a perfectly reasonable posture cue. And the last one happens where nobody else can see it, inside the breath. Mistake 1 is treating the whole form as the first assignment. The memory fills up before the body fails. In class, the teacher turns, the hands change direction, and the feet begin another pattern. At home, pausing a video can feel like falling behind. Soon you are trying to hold hands, feet, direction, posture, and the next movement in your mind at the same time. Use one short fragment instead. Repeat it a few calm times. Notice where it begins and where it ends. Then add the neighboring movement. Learn one clear piece before asking the body for a sequence. In the Master Chen channel, use a one-fragment clarity test. Show the piece once, pause, then show it again without looking ahead. If you can name its beginning, its finish, and the direction of its neighbor, keep it. If not, stay with that fragment. One clear movement is not falling behind. It is giving the next movement somewhere to attach. Do not measure the first practice by how much you can remember. Measure it by whether one piece begins to feel less mysterious when you repeat it. When that piece is clear, it becomes a quiet anchor inside the longer form. But even one clear movement can become difficult when the beginner borrows the teacher's stance. Mistake 2 is the one that looks impressive on camera and feels very different inside a beginner's body. A low, wide stance may suit the teacher, that posture, and that day of practice. But copying its depth before your feet understand the task can make the movement feel demanding before it feels familiar. Do not borrow the teacher's stance before you have found your own base. Bring the feet a little closer, stay a little higher, keep the knees soft. Then notice not only whether you can enter the position, but whether you can leave it calmly. Use an enter, pause, return test. Step into the smaller stance. Pause long enough to notice whether the shoulders have climbed or the breath has stopped. Then return the way you entered. If the return needs a scramble, make the stance smaller before trying again. A smaller stance is not a lesser stance when it is clear. Do not copy how low the teacher can go. First notice how clearly you can return. A smaller stance solves what is under you. It does not automatically solve how far the movement travels. Mistake 3 hides at the finish. At the start, the motion may look fine. A hand travels forward as a foot steps out. Then, in the last few inches, the beginner reaches for the exact picture on screen. The torso tips or twists, the shoulders brace, the hand and foot keep traveling after control has begun to fade. Make the reach or step shorter. Stop where control ends, not where the picture ends. The teacher's finishing position is not your finish line. A movement is not incomplete because it ends closer. Keep the base where it is and repeat the shorter version once. Watch whether the torso stays easy from beginning to finish. This is not the same correction as a smaller stance. One changes what is under you, the other changes how far you travel. The first 3 mistakes can make beginners think the problem is age, stiffness, or coordination. But look again. The mind was given too much. The stance was borrowed from another body. The movement was asked to travel beyond a manageable range. Keep the range comfortable, use support if you need it, and stop if anything feels wrong. The last 2 mistakes are harder to notice because both begin with good intentions. One begins with a posture correction. The other begins with a breathing instruction. Mistake 4 begins as good listening, which is why it is easy to miss. The teacher mentions the knee and foot. Wanting to be careful, the beginner holds them at one exact angle. The knee stiffens. The foot is forced into place. The torso continues turning while the lower body tries to preserve a frozen picture. A Tai Chi posture is not a photograph. A posture is a path, not a picture. Keep the knees soft. Let the knee and foot move through a comfortable shared direction and make the stance smaller if that helps. Do not chase one universal angle. A line drawn over one frozen image captures only an instant. Tai Chi happens before and after that line. Try a moving comparison. First, hold the exact picture in your mind as you turn. The knee, foot, and torso may begin competing with one another. Then repeat the same motion with soft knees and a smaller range, letting the foot travel with the turn. The second version shows the path, not a pose. But the final mistake cannot be seen in the knee or foot. It happens inside the movement. The fifth mistake happens where nobody else can see it. An instruction may say to inhale here and exhale there. While trying to remember the timing, a beginner tightens the throat, rushes the motion, or discovers that the breath has stopped. Now breathing has become a second lesson before the first lesson is learned. Let the breath follow before you ask it to lead. While the movement is still new, keep breathing continuous, comfortable, and unforced at a manageable pace. More specific coordination can come later, when the movement itself no longer needs every bit of your attention. Use a 2-pass natural breath test. On the first pass, make the movement small enough that the breath can keep going without a plan. On the second, use the same size and notice whether the jaw, throat, or shoulders begin helping the breath. If they do, return to the first pass. If the breath becomes another test, the movement has been given one instruction too many. If Tai Chi has ever made you think, I may never get this, look again before you blame yourself. Learn less at once. Stand higher and smaller. End the reach before control disappears. Treat posture as movement, not a frozen diagram. Let the breath remain natural while the movement becomes familiar. The problem may not be that you cannot learn Tai Chi. The lesson may have asked your mind and body to solve too much, too low, too far, too rigidly, and too soon. Do not ask first whether you can copy the form. Ask whether one piece can become clear. That is the Master Chen question to carry into the next class. Tell me in the comments, which mistake has ever made you think, I may never get this? Too much to remember, a stance that felt too low, a reach that went too far, a posture that became rigid, or breathing that felt forced. Subscribe for more practical Tai Chi and Qigong explanations. In the next episode, we will look at the $0 Chinese evening habit, modern wellness turned into another app, tracker, and routine, even though the original idea begins with one ordinary moment at home.